You're pushing past 45 and suddenly that sport bike you used to enjoy riding isn't so friendly anymore. Your wrists feel like they've gone 12 rounds with a jackhammer. Your lower back starts whispering threats every time you hit a pothole. And be honest, do you really use all that top-end speed, or are you just fighting the wind and pretending to enjoy it? Look, nobody's saying you've slowed down, but as you grow older, your priorities shift. Comfort starts to matter. You want power, sure, but without feeling like you've been folded into a suitcase. That's where Japanese naked bikes come in. They've got the performance, the tech, the attitude, but they're way more forgiving on your body. Upright ergonomics, real-world torque, and a style that doesn't scream midlife crisis. So before you spend another dollar on a sport bike that hates your spine, ask yourself, what if the better ride wasn't behind you, but just waiting with a set of wide bars, an upright seat, and a whole lot of torque? Well, here are 10 Japanese naked bikes for riders over 45. Oh, make sure you stick around till the end, because the number one bike on this list is so insane that even Ducati bikes are like toys standing next to it. Number 10. Yamaha MT07. The MT07 is like that one friend who never aged. You know the type, still sharp, still fun to be around, still somehow fits into the same pair of Levi's from 2002. But the real beauty of the MT07 is that it's not pretending to be young, it's just genuinely timeless. Under the tank, it runs a 689cc parallel twin with that signature 270-degree crank Yamaha loves so much. And there's a reason people won't shut up about it. It sounds great, pulls hard from the bottom, and has this raw, throaty vibe that's hard to describe but easy to love. The torque comes on early, about 50 pound-feet of it, which makes it one of those bikes that feels fast even when you're just being playful. What I appreciate most about this bike is how uncomplicated it is. It's light, about 406 pounds wet, which means it handles like it's reading your mind. It's one of the easiest bikes out there to just get on and ride. No intimidation factor, no weird quirks, and no back-breaking ergonomics. Just a solid responsive bike that doesn't punish you for being human. The upright bars, neutral peg position, and simple no-nonsense layout make this thing a daily rider's dream. It doesn't demand much, but it gives a lot in return, and because it's not overloaded with tech, you actually feel connected to the ride. There's no digital wall between you and the road. What's cool is that the MT07 still looks edgy. It's got that I might still show up at a bike night vibe, but you won't look like you're trying too hard. It's stylish in a way that doesn't scream I'm compensating for something. If you're a rider over 45 who doesn't care about impressing anyone but still wants to enjoy the hell out of riding, this bike is like your favorite pair of broken-in boots, comfortable, dependable, and always ready to go. Number 9. Suzuki GSX-8S. Let's be honest, at a certain age you start to realize that just because something's loud, flashy, and a little dangerous doesn't mean it's fun anymore. That's where the Suzuki GSX-8S comes in. This bike is like the guy who used to party hard in his 20s, got his act together in his 30s, and now in his 40s still knows how to have a good time, but without the hangover. The GSX-8S doesn't scream for attention, but the second you ride it, it earns your respect. The 776cc parallel twin it carries is brand new, and it's tuned to hit that sweet spot. Not too wild, not too soft. Around 83 horsepower with torque that comes in low and sticks with you through the rev range. That means you don't have to wring it out to get it moving. You just twist and it responds. Simple, confident, mature, but still mischievous. And the ergonomics? It's like Suzuki took a good long look at our knees and said, don't worry guys, we got you. The upright seating, mid-set pegs, and wide handlebars give you all-day comfort without sacrificing control. No more folding yourself in half like you're trying to win a limbo contest just to ride a sporty bike. Handling is sharp but forgiving, light enough to flick through corners, steady enough not to get nervous. All the electronics are refreshingly modern without feeling like you're scrolling through a smartphone menu. Traction control, ride modes, and a TFT dash, all the goodies, none of the fluff. The GSX-8S doesn't care about lap times or TikTok clout. It's built for real roads, real riders, and real fun. And honestly, it's a breath of fresh air. You hop on, ride for hours, hop off, and think, that was just right. No soreness, no regrets, just smooth, capable power and a solid grin under your helmet. Number 8. Honda CB900F 919. The Honda CB900F, also known as the 919 in the US, is one of those bikes that doesn't try too hard, and that's exactly why it works. It's not covered in wild angles or loaded with flashy tech. It's just a well-built, great riding motorcycle that feels right from the moment you throw a leg over it. One of the cool things about this bike is its engine. Honda took a detuned version of their CBR900RR superbike motor, yup, the Fireblade, and dropped it into this relaxed naked chassis. So you're getting a 919cc inline 4 with around 100 horsepower, but instead of chasing red lines, it gives you that smooth, satisfying torque down low and through the mid-range. It doesn't scream, it pulls, clean and strong. This bike is kind of a sweet spot for guys over 45. The upright bars keep pressure off your wrists, the seats actually padded like they knew people have tailbones, and the overall geometry just works. You're not hunched over, but you're still part of the bike. You feel connected like you're riding with it, not fighting it. It's also Honda through and through. No weird quirks, no sketchy maintenance habits. Just turn the key, ride, repeat. And honestly, it's one of those bikes that gets better the more you ride it. The more miles you stack, the more you appreciate how sorted it feels. It may not have ride modes or a full color dash, but what it does have is unshakable reliability and genuine versatility. I've always thought of the 919 as the bike you could recommend to anyone and not worry, but for older riders who want something calm, capable, and still quick, it's kind of a no-brainer. Number 7. Suzuki SV1000. You don't hear people talk about the Suzuki SV1000 as much these days, and honestly, that's a shame. Because for riders who appreciate a bike with a bit of character and a lot of usable power, it's kind of a hidden gem. Now you might be familiar with the SV650, which has built a cult following for being light, friendly, and fun. The SV1000 is the older, beefier sibling who's been around the block and knows how to throw a punch. It runs a 996cc V-twin engine that dishes out roughly 110 horsepower, but forget the numbers, it's the way it feels that makes it special. There's a real mechanical honesty to this bike. The engine thumps, growls, and pulls like it's got something to prove, but it's not high-strung. You don't have to wring it out to have fun. In fact, it feels better when you're just riding naturally, taking corners smoothly, rolling on the throttle without rushing things. The torque is always there, like a good friend who's got your back every time you twist the wrist. What makes the SV1000 such a good fit for riders over 45 is that it doesn't try to overwhelm you. The chassis is stable, the riding position is balanced, slightly forward, but not in a way that leaves your shoulders sore. It's composed, but still lively. You're not fighting the bike, you're flowing with it. There's also a bit of cool factor here, because it's not a bike you see every day. It's not trendy, it's not showing up on every top 10 list. But when you find one in good shape, you realize you're getting a bike with big performance, great sound, and real personality for way less money than it deserves. Personally, I've always thought of the SV1000 as the motorcycle version of that old leather armchair you refuse to throw out. It's worn in, comfortable, and every time you sit on it, it just feels right. Number 6. Yamaha XSR900. Okay, now we're talking. This is one of those rare bikes that manages to tick all the boxes. It's fast, comfortable, stylish, and full of character, but without being overly precious or delicate. And for someone over 45, this thing hits a perfect balance between performance and personality. Let's start with the engine. Yamaha dropped their brilliant 890cc inline triple into this thing, and it's just fantastic. Around 117 horsepower and 69 pound-feet of torque, but the numbers only tell half the story. The power delivery is buttery smooth down low and gets rowdy in the mid-range, perfect for spirited rides without needing to hit the red line just to feel something. You want that feeling of controlled chaos? It delivers. It's refined, but when you twist the throttle, it reminds you that yeah, there's still a little rebel in there. And the looks? Retro done right. It's not some cartoonish imitation of the past. It's tasteful, balanced, and sharp. It nods to the 80s and 90s, but it doesn't feel stuck there. It's the motorcycle version of aging gracefully with a well-fitted leather jacket and just the right amount of gray at the temples. Comfort-wise, it's friendly. Upright riding posture, a nicely padded seat, and good suspension that soaks up bumps like it's on a mission to preserve your spine. And the tech package? Spot on. Ride modes, lean-sensitive traction control, a slipper clutch, cruise control. It's got the works, but it doesn't overwhelm you with it. What I personally love about the XSR900 is that it feels like it gets the rider. It's fast when you want it, chill when you don't, and stylish no matter what. It doesn't try too hard, it doesn't need to. It's a confident, grown-up machine that lets you ride fast without feeling like you're trying to relive your 20s. Number 5. Kawasaki ZRX1200R. If you still remember this bike, we need to become best friends. This bike is a trip back to the glory days when bikes had bold colors, twin shocks, and speedometers that read 180. It's one of those rare machines that manages to feel both retro and timeless, and it hits a very specific sweet spot for guys over 45. Let's start with a look, because if we're being real, it's a stunner. That green and blue Eddie Lawson replica paint scheme is iconic. The rectangular headlight, the chunky tank, the tail section, it all screams early 80s superbike glory. But don't be fooled by the old school charm. Underneath the bodywork is a very modern machine. It's powered by a 1164cc inline-4 that pumps out around 122 horsepower, but the real story is the torque. Tons of it, delivered low in the revs. You don't need to wind it out to get moving. It just pulls, effortlessly, from any gear. Perfect for relaxed cruising or a spirited Sunday rip. Now here's the kicker, it's actually comfortable. Like, properly. The seating position is upright and natural. The bars are wide and easy to steer with. The suspension soaks up bumps without making the bike feel like a couch. You could ride this thing for hours without needing a chiropractor on speed dial. And because it's a little heavier than most modern naked bikes, it feels solid and planted, not jittery or hyper-responsive. That's a good thing when you've got decades of road wisdom and want a machine that works with you, not against you. I think what makes the ZRX1200R special is that it speaks to a specific kind of rider, someone who appreciates motorcycles not just for performance, but for presence. This is a bike that gets nods at gas stations, sparks conversations, and makes you feel proud to own it. It's more than just a ride, it's a throwback to a time when bikes were simple, fast, and full of soul, but updated just enough to feel right in 2025. Number 4. Kawasaki Z900. This is one of those bikes that manages to look aggressive but ride like a gentleman. It's sharp and modern on the outside, but under the skin it's smooth, balanced, and way more comfortable than it looks. This one runs a 948cc inline 4 that pushes out around 123 horsepower, and what makes it stand out isn't just the power, it's how friendly that power feels. You can twist the throttle gently and it'll cruise effortlessly, but when you want to drop a gear and open it up, it's ready. And that mid-range pull is buttery smooth, no abrupt hits, no spikes, just clean acceleration that makes every ride more fun than it should be. But here's where it's on this list, the ergonomics. The Z900 sits you upright with a slight forward lean, just enough to feel sporty without turning into a chiropractor's business card. The seat is nicely contoured, the pegs aren't too high, and the ride quality is surprisingly forgiving, especially if you tweak the suspension just a bit for your weight. And let's not ignore the style. The exposed frame, LED headlight, the sharp tank, all of it screams modern naked bike without being overdone. It's flashy in a mature way, like a tailored suit with just the right shoes. I think what makes the Z900 such a solid pick is that it feels like it's been built for real people. People who still want performance but aren't interested in chasing lap times anymore. It's fast, fun, and comfortable, exactly what a naked bike should be when you're past the stage of proving something and just want to enjoy the ride. Number 3. Kawasaki Z1000. If you haven't been living under a rock, you've definitely heard of this one. It's what happens when a sport bike grows up, hits the gym, and learns how to dress. It's not trying to be a track day hero anymore. It's more like that guy in his late 40s who still lifts heavy, wears a leather jacket, and somehow pulls it off. You know he's not reckless, but you also know not to mess with him. The bike has a mean look. Those twin LED eyes and sharp tank lines look like they're carved out of something angry. And the way it rides backs it up. Under the skin is a 1043cc inline 4 that churns out around 140 horsepower, but what really makes it fun is how that power comes in. It's all about the mid-range. You twist the throttle at 4000 RPM and the thing just goes. No waiting, no drama, just pure direct drive. Now let me tell you exactly why it works so well for riders over 45. You're not sacrificing your back just to ride it. The seating position is upright, relaxed, and surprisingly neutral. Your feet aren't tucked up high, your wrists aren't holding your body weight, and your spine gets to remain in its natural curve. After an hour in the saddle, you're still enjoying the ride, not shifting around, looking for relief. What I really like about the Z1000 is that it doesn't scream for attention. It's got the performance of a leader-class sport bike, but it wears it differently. It's the kind of bike you ride when you've got nothing to prove, but still want to turn a few heads when you roll into the lot. It's aggressive, yeah, but not immature. The Z1000 is a street fighter with manners, and that's a rare combo. Number 2. Suzuki GSX S1000. Suzuki built this bike for the rider who still wants to feel that leader bike thrill but doesn't want to be folded like a pretzel while doing it. This thing takes the raw DNA of a GSX R1000 and repackages it into something a whole lot friendlier to ride every day. That engine is a beast, but a refined one. It's a 999cc inline 4, putting out around 150 horsepower, which sounds like a lot, and honestly it is. But here's the key difference. Suzuki tuned it for street use, not track domination. That means the torque kicks in lower in the rev range, so you get real-world performance that's actually usable. No need to scream it past 10,000 RPM just to have fun. But what surprised me the most is how civilized it feels. The throttle response is crisp, but not jumpy. The clutch is light, the gearbox is smooth, and the ride is composed. You can absolutely rip on it when the road opens up, but you can also cruise through town or take it easy on long back road runs without feeling like it's begging to be unleashed. Comfort-wise, it does a great job. You're upright, your knees aren't jammed, and the bike doesn't wear you out. Plus, with modern touches like traction control and ABS, you get a nice safety net without being bombarded with menus or ride modes you'll never use. For anyone over 45 who wants the thrill of a 1000cc engine but without the contortionist ergonomics or race-focused edge, the GSX S1000 hits a really smart balance. It's loud when you want it to be, quiet when you need it to be, and sharp without being harsh. Number 1. Yamaha MT10. Earlier on, I told you that the number one bike on this list would make any Ducati feel like a toy. Well, meet the Yamaha MT10. This bike is the two-wheeled equivalent of an aging rock star who still shreds harder than the kids, but now wears orthopedic sneakers. It's got a 998cc inline 4 lifted straight from the R1 superbike, but tuned for the street. What that means is torque everywhere, but without the high-strung track-only energy. It makes about 160 horsepower, and it delivers it like a freight train that knows when to behave, until you say otherwise. The seating? Upright, spacious, surprisingly comfortable. The bars are wide and relaxed. Your knees aren't stuffed into your chest, and the seat isn't trying to saw you in half after an hour. This bike understands that fast can still be fun, not work. Now let's talk tech, because the MT10 is loaded. You've got a 6-axis IMU that handles everything from traction control to wheelie control, cornering ABS, cruise control, quick shifter, ride modes, the works. But the best part? It doesn't feel complicated. Everything just works in the background, like a good assistant who brings your coffee before you even ask. But don't let all that refinement fool you. This bike is a lunatic when you want it to be. Twist the throttle and it'll snarl, surge, and roar like it's got something to prove. And yet, it's smooth, controlled. You feel in charge, not like you're trying to hang on for dear life. Visually, the MT10 doesn't try to blend in either. It's sharp, muscular, and almost angry looking. Like it's daring other bikes at the stoplight to make the first move. Some people think it looks like a robot got mad at a wasp. Personally, I love that it doesn't pretend to be polite. This isn't a beginner's bike, and it's not for someone chasing Instagram likes. It's for the rider who's been around the block, knows what real power feels like, and wants to enjoy it without folding their spine into a Z shape. If you're over 45, still have that fire, and want something that respects your experience without treating you like a museum piece, the MT10 is it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next one.